Hey, what's up, everybody? So, closing up today, 12-hour day. I love it. Blessed and thankful that I'm able to do this. But I fit in a little workout today at the end, and kind of like a big idea sparked within my head while I was going through these movements. I've been dabbling with this concept, talking about it on our old podcasts and things like that, but it's really the concept of range of motion, right? And I think the range of motion, the focus of that, has really led us astray. And range of motion or full range of motion, mobility, all of that to me is like BS. If you predominantly focus on range of motion, you are destined to hurt yourself, because that goal, you're trying to achieve it, but with no context. You're trying to make your body go into this full range of motion for what purpose? What's the intent? So I have videos, which I'm going to tag to this and go over it. Trust me, I've been doing squats for a long time. I was doing ass to grass squats a lot. I was doing knees over toes before knees over toes was even a thing. And from what I've seen from my athletes, from people in my gym, thousands of people over 12 years of running a gym, doing a lot of mobility, doing ass to grass Olympic weightlifting squats, ass to grass powerlifting squats, ass to grass CrossFit squats, because that was the cool thing back in the day. Now it's making a resurgence, and a lot of people are hyper focused on this one idea that you have to go full range. Don't quarter squat, half squatters. But if you think about it, most of those people that typically focus on those things still to this day are probably always broken or injured. They have reoccurring injuries. They've had terrible injuries in the past. And if you're not there yet and you're squatting ass to grass like I was, then I wish you all the best. But the idea here is I'm trying to help people, prevent people from having these knee injuries, back injuries that I've seen over and over and over again. Now, let me go over it a little bit more in depth, going over why it's BS from our own research and from everything that we've seen. The idea of range of motion is that people think it's functional. You have to squat all the way down, all the way up, like the Asian squat, do 10-minute squat a day. I used to do mobility WOD stuff, Ido Portal stuff. That concept kind of makes sense, right? If you can just sit all the way down, then you should be good. Your knees are healthy. If your knees can go all the way forward, they're healthy. But that's not necessarily true, because if you're talking about function, why are you squatting in the first place, right? What is this exercise going to give you that's going to benefit the body? I've known a lot of weightlifters, powerlifters, yogis, you name it, everyone that's in the fitness realm, mobility, movement specialists, and a lot of them are still jacked up. They've had severe injuries too when they're lifting heavy or when they do explosive movements. I've had a ton of my fair share of injuries, and I was able to squat ass to grass, still kinda, which you'll see in the video, but at what cost? So the idea is, why do you care, okay? Again, if you're all about ass to grass and you're still on that idea and you don't want to open your mind up to new concepts, then no harm, no foul. But I'm talking to everyone else that's squatting for the purpose of improving their life, improving their joints, fixing their knee pain, low back pain, improving performance for everyday life or your sport or even your lifts, right? Why are you squatting? The goal isn't to just hit an arbitrary depth, right? And you'll see the squats that I demonstrate today, going to old school ass to grass, like back squat, air squat. I'm just forcing my body down to hit that depth, and that's the main goal. No focus really on anything else coming up. As you'll see, I'm forcing myself down, and then when I come up, who knows what muscles I'm using. And if you want to argue what we've played around with, the term functional, you never have to produce power through your legs or hips when your hip is below parallel. The idea, they can argue if you need to go poop in the woods or whatever, yeah, that's fine. That's a relaxed position, right? But if you are trying to do something explosive, you put weight on your back, you load for a jump, you load for a tackle, change levels for a shot, you push a car when it's stalled, your hip is never that low. You would never try to push a car, right? Or carry something heavy when your butt is below parallel, right? If you lift a freaking heavy pumpkin or stone, or if you lifted anything remotely heavy, yes, your butt might start down, but right when you look for tension, your hip shoots up to right about 90 or higher before you can even lift something. Watch how strongman athletes lift stones and things like that. So the idea is, if you focus on range of motion without the context of using the right muscles and for whatever goal you're trying to improve, then you're definitely just gonna hit the wrong goals, right? So what I mean is, if you're doing squats for the sake of strengthening your legs, your lower back, wouldn't it be more optimal to do the squats where you're making sure you're using the right muscles through the full range of motion, and then be able to produce power or go faster in a workout or in an athletic movement where everything stays on, right? So again, for some context, watch the videos right after this. I squat down to the position where it'd be like a bottom of a jump, where I would do a kettlebell swing, an Olympic lift, a jump and land. That's as low as I need to go, because the reason I'm squatting or training my legs is to produce a lot of power, use the right muscles, make sure my hamstring, my glutes, my quads are all firing, and I don't risk or jeopardize my knees, my joints, my back, because I'm following rules that were set for competition. I'm not a power lifter or Olympic weightlifter or a CrossFit Games athlete. I don't need to go to parallel, because if you ask me why am I squatting, it's none of those three reasons to compete. So why are you squatting? And if you continue to have knee pain, tight issues that you can't fix, tight IT band, tight hip flexors, chronic low back pain, keep tweaking your back, why the hell are you constantly worried about range of motion and focusing on that as a primary? Yes, you want to develop more mobility, but for what? If you're just like an athlete, you probably only need to get to about that right above the knee level and strengthen and fix everything there, right? So doing a lot of stretches, that's where everyone's using this range of motion to sell a lot of shit, because it's easy to do that. It's like, oh, your shoulder is tight, you need more mobility, your hips are tight, you can't squat all the way down. So it's easy to prescribe stretches, massage guns, and all these other treatments or whatever programs to make sure you squat all the way down. But again, that's not even the reason why you're trying to squat in the first place. You're not gonna produce power, you're not gonna build muscle. Squatting all the way down, where you have to force it, where everything shuts off, weight goes to your lower back and hips, and you come up nasty, you're not gonna be able to apply any of that strength anywhere anyways. So again, the three movements I was testing, just to show you, that was kind of the eye-opening thing. I did pull-ups, right? Traditionally doing strict pull-ups, right? I would just get my chin over the bar. But then ask yourself that question, what's the goal of the pull-ups? Why are you doing a pull-up in the first place? For me, I want to build back strength, arm strength, forearm strength, core, glutes, and be strong enough to utilize this to pull something for jiu-jitsu, for life, right? My kid's running across the street, I want to pull him. I want to be able to utilize it in sport, right? But the idea, if I just care about hitting my chin over the bar, oh, those didn't count, those are half reps, then my goal, my mindset is just get that chin over the bar. So what does that do for me? I'm just gonna get better at throwing my chin up. We completely lost focus of the why. Why are you doing pull-ups? Why are you doing squats? Why do you care about, quote unquote, where everyone makes range of motion such a big deal? Why do you have to get your knees all the way down to your ankles and when you squat that low? I don't know. It's probably a valid question for you to ask. So when I did the pull-ups today, and again, I'm at fault. I was focused all on range of motion, ass to grass, like I said. I was weightlifter, crossfitting the same way. But now, the pull-up, instead of just going, repping it out, throwing my neck up over and over again, straining my trap and shoulder, I was training all the muscles, tightening my core and glute first, and pulling violently. It's almost like I wanted to pull as high as I can where I can fly over into a strict bar muscle up. So I don't care about going back to my old why of training. I don't care about workout times. workout scores. So if I did 5 pull-ups today and then I did 6 like this the next day, that's not really my goal. My goal is to keep building strength and power, rebuilding the structure of my mechanics. So that's another movement I tested. The kettlebell swing, right? Everyone always asks when they come in, what kind of kettlebell swings do you guys do? Do you guys do Russian, which is eye level, or American, which is all the way overhead? So I demonstrated both, right? Again, the focus, if it's just a range of motion target, kettlebell goes above eye level, great. Then I'm just trying to hit those pointers, right? That's the only goal I'm focusing on, eye level. And then American swing, same thing, overhead, overhead. You've completely lost focus on why you do a kettlebell swing in the first place. Is to be explosive through the jumping pattern or your legs, where you can fire your knees violently and your hips together, and then be powerful enough to use the lower body explosively, like an Olympic lift. But if I'm just rocking to hit the goal of eye level or up here, there's no more power, it's just momentum at that point. So I think I've ranted long enough. But again, ask yourself this: if you're still in pain, things aren't getting better, you don't know why you're always hurt, but think bigger than that, right? What's causing it? Two, why are you guys listening, following blindly? Test it out on yourself. Look back at your own data. Most of you guys that are following me have worked out a long time probably. So why are you trying to squat that low? For what reason? And then if you are trying to squat that low, well, what muscles are you supposed to use when you're at the bottom, at the top? Do you know the difference? When something hurts, when you injure yourself, do you know where it's coming from? Following a full range of motion program where you're promised good knees, you could promise you could dunk, you could fix your knees, promise your low back's gonna be fixed, makes no sense, because it doesn't explain why it fixes it, why the injury happened, and two, they don't factor in what you're trying to get out of these drills or squats. So you could do a lot of miscellaneous isolation drills or full range squats, one-legged squats, good mornings, whatever, but that does not translate to your mechanics and your goals. So again, you keep focusing on range of motion and you keep focusing on reps for it to count, so you're not a half repper, that's fine. But again, if you start to get injured and don't know where to go, I'm always here for you guys. So let me know if you guys have questions on this topic. I know it's going against the grain. Everyone's all about it, but that's what we do. We question everything. So check out the videos that I just did in terms of my training, see the difference. And if, again, you want to join the movement, let me know, because I want you guys to practice these concepts safely. I wouldn't want you to go 0 to 100 in terms of power output right away. I want you guys to make sure you're doing the movements with the right mechanics first and then add the intensity slowly. All right?